ladies and gentlemen. It's been I hate to say it, but it's been a nice qualification. I don't think anyone is gonna catch up. Is it too early to tell, Cole? You tell me. I don't think it is. It's 41-point difference for anyone to catch up to Brazil, for anyone to catch up to Chile. Obviously, these guys have crossed the 100 points mark quite convincingly, and everyone below, even Argentina, is at least 40 points away from qualification. And this is only Argentina either, right?
Yeah.
This, I'm saying either. This is only Argentina, actually. The rest of the teams are even further below. So that's even an even bigger problem that at this point might even be impossible, actually, like legitimately impossible in 3 games to catch up. And we have never had such a decisive and convincing qualification to, once again, bring up that topic, Koval. None of these other qualifiers, I'm talking Asia and Oceania, I'm talking Europe, and we have the Africa qualification coming out as well. I think even that is going to be closer than this one. But Brazil and Chile, what's a performance up until this point?
Just worlds above what the rest of the lobby has been able to pull
Yes.
off. And I think we're getting into territory where we're just going to enjoy 3 matches of PUBG Mobile. I'm going to see where that takes us. You want to believe every single time, right? You want the underdog story. But listen, 41 points in 3 games. When they're both playing well, it's not like they're just gonna fall asleep. It's not like Brazil is just gonna go home and say, "Caralho, we're gonna go watch some Neymar stream some PUBG Mobile on Twitch." You know, it's not gonna.
He did play
happen.
PUBG Mobile as well, right? Neymar played PUBG Mobile.
I think I've seen him play PUBG PC as well. The guy's been around the block. You know, he's been
Yeah.
trying out some things. But that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. All right, and they're gonna continue playing their game. They're gonna continue having fun as well, and just rounding up people and going for fights. I'm not a believer. All right, I'm not a believer. I'll put it that way. You can be a believer. I'll support you.
I'm not though. That was my entire point, Cole.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
a believer, unfortunately.
Anyone in chat, you know,
Look,
you think Suriname is gonna make it? I would love to see it. I would love it. I'm not a believer
I love
anymore,
to meet these
but-
guys, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've had, you know, maybe second biggest fan base in chat. You can prove me wrong by spamming other flags, you know, but
That's cheesy. Come on, stop it.
I'm just pumping up the
That is so
interactions
very
on the
cheesy.
stream, you know. I'm just pumping up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. But yeah, I mean, we're both in agreement at this point that they deserve it.
Yeah.
They both have played fantastic PUBG. I said my point before this, right? I said Chile. Why do I keep saying Chile now? It's Chile yesterday, and
I
Brazil
said Chile
today.
as well, I think.
Yeah, the Americans, they say Chile, but
Chile.
yeah, it's just
Do
not.
they actually say Chile?
Yeah, but in Chile they say Chile, so I think it's fair to say Chile. But you know,
Alright.
whatever floats your boat at this point.
Either way, they
3 more
qualify.
games.
We'll find out. Actually, we'll find out. I guess when, well, in case we're in Riyadh, obviously.
Oh, I don't have to
we're about
find out. I know already. It's just my brain is really silly at this time. You know, when you've watched Chile dominate so much PUBG
Yes.
Esports, and they play spicy and they play hot.
They play amazing. They play like Chile as well to
Exactly, you got my drift.
give into that dad joint.
Nice,
Yes.
nice,
It's been a good
beautiful.
pan, Kovo.
Yeah,
What a
wow.
perfect pan. Pun. I'm saying pan now. I mean pun.
Perfect
Obviously.
Pan.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Love my pan.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can have some fun. We know who's qualified at this point. Unless obviously a miracle happens. But if that happens, I'm giving out UC to absolutely everyone who's now spamming their country's flag in the chat. So if Brazil or Chile, if they do not qualify, if one of these teams doesn't qualify, let's put it that way, I'm giving UC to everyone who's now spamming the chat. You guys can find me on Instagram at Falix Samuel, and I'll make sure to give you guys UC. That's sponsored by myself. But yeah,
What's a UC?
unfortunately, UC is in-game currency for everyone that doesn't know it. You can get amazing skins. Don't act like that, Koval. Come on, you know what UC is.
You have
This
a
guy.
creator code you want to give out at the same maybe?
No. We'll stop it right there. We stop it right there. It's just that's how sure I am that
Yeah.
these teams will go to Riyadh at the later stages of this year and will compete for the lion's share of the amazing prize pool that we have at
130,000.
hand. Oh, there, 130,000. Yeah, just like that. $1 million prize pool, by the way, this year in total for the IESF, and I think that one is is, by the looks of it, only going to increase going forward into the next couple of years. Amazing stuff coming out from the International Esports Federation. It's always a blast, in case you haven't seen last year. At Yash, that was one hell of a tournament we'll have on an event.
Yeah.
The entire city was there to watch esports. It's legitimately the entire city, so in case you've watched these little small trailers in the breaks, that's actually what it looked like during all of the days.
I've never seen anything like it. It was like an esports festival. It was super nice.
We've been at a couple of events as well. I mean, we've been around the world.
And none of them was this kind of vibe with everybody just hanging out. But guys, we've been hanging out. This has become a podcast at this point. And we have some tech issues with the players getting into the lobby. And we're going to spare you from another 5 minutes of podcast yapping. And we're going to go to a short break until match 4, comes up. So short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We're back! We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going right back into the action. Despite, I think, the qualification already being out there, I think we've seen the overall leaderboard, but we'll still stay hyped! Because, obviously, we still have 3 more matches to go. But, to cut...
The Phalanx Kobo podcast is not going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
Actually, I kind of want to finish that point, actually. You bring me back to the little podcast episode that we just had. Yash was amazing.
Yes.
So in case you have the opportunity, in case you live near Riyadh this year, or maybe even in Riyadh, you should definitely go. You should go to the International Esports Federation World Esports Championship 2024, because once again, these guys have put up an amazing event, no matter where they've hosted that event, right? It's been in Seoul, it's been in Yash just last year, for example. It's been in all kinds of different cities. Jakarta, for example, and all of these events have been nothing short of amazing. I gotta be honest, I didn't realize these amazing events were that amazing until I actually participated in one. I wish I would have known that sooner, because I'm not gonna lie, I would have been there for some other and I know you're laughing, because I just said to him in the pause that I'm not going to fly throughout. Obviously, I'm not going to fly to the ends of the world for it. But looking back at it, if I would have known Yash was that amazing and the other tournaments would have been that amazing as well, I would have.
You're going in circles, Phalanx. You're broken. The record's broken.
Yes, I know you don't believe me, but I would have.
No.
Either way.
I'm saying the same thing. I'm not selling out here. I was going to EASH for work, and then I was like, wait, this stuff's actually really cool.
Yeah, look, that's what I said.
You need a break, all right? We're not going to a break though. We're going to a game, okay? You take a breath, okay? Air in, air out. 3 more games of PUBG Mobile. We have 1 ERANGEL. We have 2 Miramars. And we have 2 teams we're sending to the World Esports Cup. We already have, I think, something around 10 teams there. Roughly. I think we have 12 teams there already. We're sending 2 more today. We're sending 2 more in the African Esports Championship. And I'm going to have to get a new co-caster, because you're absolutely done.
Yes, because look, I got to be honest, I didn't expect this. I expected some favorites to at least run away with it, but not that we have 3 games to go and it's decided.
Yeah.
That's why I keep on laughing. I cannot comprehend how crazy that is. And also I keep on laughing because you made me laugh.
It's over.
To some degree.
It's over.
But yeah. I don't know how. I don't even know. Look, I know we've seen crazy games from Brazil.
Yeah.
But we've almost only seen them have crazy games when they actually win the round. What has happened in between is what I'm asking. And I asked you this in the pause as well. I don't know where the rest of the points are coming from.
That's a crazy switch from losing your mind laughing to a very interesting question.
Yes, but it really feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, they're both them and Chile have had really, really bad games, and they've had 1-pointers, 0-pointers, really, really rough games in between, which is weird when you look at how much better than the lobby they are and how dominant they are. Unfortunate driving there for Rema, but he does make it in the end. Crazy circle, by the way, almost no one in it. Chile looking for another good early land grab here, probably. Wouldn't be surprised to see them south of the Gatka area in a compound there, just holding it down until the late game. But I'm not sure. And they're going to be looking at those games, probably, and they're going to have a bit think, because not only are they playing for the World Esports Championship, they're also a team that wants to improve anyways, right? They're also a team that wants to optimize their game plan. And I'm hoping, if I'm Brazil, that they're looking at that last game and they're realizing, hey, we won that game and we got a whole lot of kills, but we also had a 4v1 and we lost a player in it, you know? That shouldn't happen. And it's very easy to look past that stuff when you're winning, and it's very easy to ignore those things when you're winning. But realistically, those are the things you want to fix. And those are the things that are going to get more and more punished when you come to a global stage, a stage where only the best of each region are competing.
Yeah. I can only agree. I still think it's kind of funny to turn out this way.
Yeah.
Either way, I saw some flags being spammed in the chat, so good to see you guys still believing. Runaway out there, Goddess, for example, with the Suriname representation, Argentina representation as well. Argentina still believes in it, and if I were to give it to any team, I think you'd agree with me, it has to be Argentina. They've at least shown us some kind of strength that could, you know, resemble the likes of Brazil and the likes of Chile. But it's not been consistent enough, unfortunately, so they won't be in the running either, at least not right now. They would need a win right now. This very game is going to be the very last chance of any kind of miracle happening. After that, it literally becomes impossible. I think right now, if the perfect outcome does come true, which is like a 20-kill dinner for any of the runner-ups, I'd even exclude any of the runner-ups except Argentina, actually. And so if Argentina doesn't get that 20, maybe 15-kill dinner, it's going to be impossible for them as well, just mathematically impossible. So, a very last chance, if everything works out absolutely perfect for Argentina, then it is very possible. Otherwise, it really isn't. 65 points to 106 and 109. And I gotta stop myself talking, otherwise I laugh again, because I cannot comprehend how this qualifier is so incredibly different to all the rest of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's something that you have to just bring yourself to understand, is how crazy this day has been for Argentina. They started the day with 61 points, Alex, and they're up to 65 now. They have completely flopped. They have gone from a 60-point average, from a 10-point average to a 1-point average. And that has been the one thing that's cost them. If they had 10 points a game in these last 3 games, they'd be on 95. And they'd be completely fine, and they'd be in the running. So it's not been, you know, in a way, it's not just been Brazil and Chile running away with things. It's also just been Argentina not getting anything going today. It's really, it's been a rough day for an Argentina fan, and it's been a rough day to be an Argentina player. And yeah, you hope that they can muster up something, that they can find strength somewhere, but it's got to come now, or like you said, it will just be too late.
I can't. I still gotta laugh. Honestly, it's so absurd. I try to stop myself from laughing right there, but 106 and 109. Anyone else is gonna think I'm crazy that I'm laughing at this. But 106 and 109, as opposed to 65 and 60. I mean, you just told everyone what the starting point was. They've gotten like what 7, 8, 9 frags. My math is not the best. It was enough to pass university, but apparently not for this one. But yeah, 65, 65 points. Argentina. You've kind of destroyed our hopes of any kind of suspense towards the end of these games. Is it fair to blame them? No, it isn't. I think it's been more so Brazil picking up the pace once more, playing a little bit more aggressively, playing a little bit more structured, a little bit more disciplined. And as a result of that, 106 points is going to be the position they're in right now with 3 more games to go. As you have the United States. Out of the teams, it is United States once more. I think that completes the cycle now with all 9 games that we've seen so far. And them obviously playing aggressively in Phase 1. And yeah, once more, it's not going to be different in match number 10 either, as they will be having Colombia on the other side of the street. A rather weird contest. I think that gives you the first kind of indication that something has happened now with that last game, which means that some of these teams will have to start fragging immediately now to have any kind of chance. And we said the only team that realistically has a chance is Argentina, and they'll immediately lose a player. And that's due to Chile as well. How disastrous is that? It doesn't get any worse than this.
What a play as well. What a play from Chile. They know that they're probably through, but there's a tiny chance that maybe Argentina goes ballistic. What do? They bridge camp Argentina. Just exactly the right strats, exactly the right thing to do, and Argentina none the wiser falls into the trap. Colombia is running the exact opposite strat. They are trying to take things into their own hands. They are trying to get kills very early here. They're not hot dropping Rozok, but they're pulling up as soon as they can from the apartments, right? But it hasn't gone well for them either. And I think that's a second knock now from Kidu. The man's been putting up numbers, and I think he's just ruined any sort of dream a Colombian fan might have still had. Getting that second knock, potentially getting the first confirmed there as well. And turning that on its head, just stopping the Colombia train before it even leaves the station.
Stopping the train, something that is unfortunately not going to be possible anymore for the rest of the teams. By the looks of it, now that Colombia has gotten into a fight as well. But then again, I can understand why these fights are happening. They need to have a big game. They realize this as well, and that's the point I was trying to make earlier.
Yeah.
Everyone now realized that it's go big or go home, and that 3 times in a row. So unless Argentina and Colombia, I think Uruguay is too far down, but maybe Uruguay as well. Unless they get like a 20-kill win, it's going to be mathematically impossible. So they need this round. They need this big upset now. And that's why everyone is starting early, because with the 11 teams, you want to have isolated fights. And you want to get them as early as you can before they're all taken by someone else, especially these top teams. And that's also Uruguay is fighting, but they're losing players as well. Now down to the Dominican Republic to pick up these frags. And they will do so relatively cleanly so far. Not a player has been lost by the Dominican Republic, as they will be heading to 57 points, potentially even 60 after every flush has gone through.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. We're clutching. We're clutching at straws. We're holding on to dear hope. Good start for Dominican Republic, getting their health back up after this little altercation as well. This is that's a teammate in a car. Don't run that over. Circle goes far south. Remember when I said Chile might grab one of the most priority spots in the circle around Gatka, and they just decided not at all. We're not going for circle. We're going for Argentina. We have a goal in mind. And they have succeeded at that. No false arrogance, no false pride in making sure you get first place over Brazil. Qualification is what matters, and qualification is what they're aiming for.
What a nade by Alex. He's been one of the strongest fraggers in one of the toughest rounds last game. And he'll start off the same way in this one with a good flash on towards one of the Dominican Republic players. But all this, obviously due to the outcomes, what a shot. Wow, Cardi is going to take down, I think that was Lech in the distance. But all of this plays into the cards of Brazil and obviously Chile as well, because of the fact that none of these fights have been clean.
Wait, Cardi just naded himself. Must have got knocked with a nade in hand or something along the lines. I'm not sure what went on there, but not what you want to see in the kill feed, not what you want to see your teammate doing. 3 defeats for the Dom rep, but losing a player early is going to once again slow them down considerably, put some brakes on that train. And now Brazil, Chile, all they have to do is follow the train. And it's looking a little dicey, it's looking a little spicy, but Brazil's not ready for it. They're falling away from this before it even starts. Little boy, not sure if he wants it or not. Papi Sour over the top, but Law has the off angle. Law has them covered, has them in their back pocket,
And now they're coming back. Look at the sweep. Look at them cruising on in. And just like that, Brazil will turn that around. There is a knock with the DBS, though. Maybe things do turn out a little bit more spicy than they were hoping for. Papi Sour outnumbered, though, Falix. It's looking like another cleanup. It's just Legend left alive, and there's a DBS on the opposite side, UMP as well. Brazil is not stopping anytime soon here.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Chile and Brazil, the two teams that do not need any further points, continue to perform. 3 and 2 frags being picked up by them in the early stages of this, and I think there's going to be more to come now. And you can just tell things have shifted now. This last game, everyone is just driving around trying to frag. It's just absolute chaos. Of Suriname is taking on the United States. The United States seem to have the upper hand in this one. 3 players now only left standing to compete against, as one more Molotov hits Zahil, and he goes down. That's a good Molotov, actually. I'm not sure how he was able to knock him, but he was able to flush him off as well. And that's Batbo with another great peek. Just one player left standing. I think that's Trent. Good news is he's got the DBS. The bad news is it's only 20 HP, and that's going to be enough to finish him off. AUG in hand, Suriname goes down. The United States do show a sign of life, even though it is a little bit too late.
3 times in 4 games, the US versus Suriname fight each other. And I think that's the 3rd time now. I'm not sure if Suriname won 1. They were looking good in one of those fights, but they've definitely lost 3, I think, to the US-American squad. 52 points for them at this point. They're going to maybe play a good game here. They're going to maybe join the ranks of the contenders. But they will have a chill 40-point gap to the very top. To the points that everybody's looking at.
Long shots. But nothing really connecting just yet. But I keep on coming back to the same point. Does it really matter? It really doesn't, unfortunately. And all these teams will just be using this to get a couple of more nice clips onto their Instagram. Get a couple of highlight reels filled up. I think that's what we saw the United States doing as well. As that team, that country, these representatives have been the most dominant force so far in this match number 10, at least in the early game. Next phase comes in, it's the deep southwest shift. As now Brazil is making their way into the next safe zone as well. They will be entering the north side of things. I'd be surprised if they drive too far, too deep into the center. I think at this point they'll just be minimizing the risk as much as possible of being caught off guard in terms of losing players unnecessarily. And that rotation, I wouldn't even expect they want to go for it, but it looks like they're going to play a 2-2 split. Never mind me, that is a different team in the distance. Actually, Brazil has breached that compound as a full 4-man. That's crazy. I think they know as well that everyone's going to be hunting for them, despite it not really being realistic. So they just look for the one spot that is literally unbreachable. And that's the compound they found.
It also becomes a question of, are you playing to the best ability in this lobby? Or are you playing the best PUBG in a maybe slightly more close and contested lobby, right? And maybe they feel like in a global lobby, this is what they would be doing. And so they want to play like that. They don't want to change their playstyle, especially now that they've already secured qualification. Eureka, who's been the man putting up numbers. I think he's the top fragger of the lobby still. At least he's close. I think he's probably been passed by Lorenzen, but very, very close to top frag in the lobby. Still putting up numbers, still putting out damage for the Chilean squad. And this time, M44X is the weapon of choice.
Joe is going to be looted. And that is Molina picking these weapons up. As Jill is still holding down that southern side. But, man, it's surprising. I honestly thought it was going to be a little bit more aggressive now. And it has been aggressive, yes, but not from these top two teams. And that's the weird part, right? They should be the ones driving around, just pulling up on everyone. But they're the ones actually playing the safest.
Yeah.
So, surprising strategy coming out from Chile and obviously Brazil as well, as now Eureka is making his way further towards the western side. I think he's trying to scout out that single-story building from Brazil, because in case a north or west shift happens, as always, that team on the hillside towards the east is going to have a really tough time rotating down.
Just from personal experience, I really like what Chile and Brazil are doing, because the early game in a lobby like this is nothing like the early game in a 16-team lobby, and it's nothing like the early game in a more contested, stronger lobby internationally, globally. But the late game, yeah, a 4v4, v3 or anything like that is very similar, because there's not that many decisions to be made in that late game. It's a lot about just individual plays, shooting, small microsecond decision making. So it's much easier to practice the late game, and it's much easier to extract value from a game like this if you make it to the late game. So I love what they're doing, and I love what they will try to do with the circle. Chile probably just sliding on down that hillside, maybe playing around one of these two shacks, or going for a fight versus Guatemala, to try and just extract the most amount of practice and value out of this game. As we see Achilles punched out of the car, the USA landing some really good shots there, but probably nothing that won't be temporary. Gets a smoke on the car, tries to get the hell out of there, but the USA is not stopping. They don't have a space in the circle anymore, and they're just going for these kills.
Yeah. And I like it. So far, they've been really successful with that. As I said, they've been the most successful team in that match number 10 and the early stages of it. And look how they pull up as well. That's what I wanted to see earlier than match 10. Because the United States look really, really good, actually, when fighting. They look really good when aggressing. And they started early, but they just haven't really been able to get any kind of luck, any kind of consistent play going in the late game. And they will clean up these players as well, but they lose peak on the process, unfortunately. That means the United States down to 3 players, but 8 frags so far. I think for them it is all about honor now. It's all about dignity, making sure they finish off as strong as they can, as there's going to be one more player being caught on rotation, and it is against Brazil as well. Once again, it's not about qualification anymore. It is all about staying strong, representing your country to the best of your ability, and obviously they want to make sure that they'll be invited back for the next regional qualifier of the United States Esports Federation. One more breach coming on through. Chile being picked apart here, and it is no one else than Guatemala picking up these frags.
They were hoping for the opening. They were hoping Eureka could just open the door on wide and get them into this compound somehow, but it's a little late. He's a little late to the party. His team's already been swatted aside. Potro also gonna get flushed out here momentarily. Nice nade to get the flush, but also not enough to get the second knock. He's gonna run it down now. He's gonna get aggressive. He's gonna hunt down every last player he can find. The good nade to follow it up as well, and man, you can just tell the confidence, right? You can just smell it, you can see it, you can feel it. He comes around the corner. He's not messing around. He's hunting this down. He might lose this 1v1, but he's already done so much damage to that Guatemalan squad. Whenever they want to come out of their compound, they're going to have so many problems to deal with.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough for anyone else finding any kind of points with all these fights going on. I mean, it's phase 5 and we have 5 teams. Make that potentially 4 in a couple of seconds. When these teams on the southern side will be forced into each other as well. But at least Ecuador isn't really forced into anyone else for this phase. We'll be able to get Darien back. 4 players left standing. Only Brazil can really compete with that. Everyone else is down to just 2 players. Argentina reduced to 2. USA reduced to 2. And I'm surprised Argentina even made it this far. But they were able to somehow stay alive with these 2 players out towards the southern side. But it's not over yet. Brazil now with a Hail Mary play right into the shack towards the south, with 2 players covering from the distance. And goes to show you, Brazil is taking this one as serious as it gets.
Love to see it. This is where I would have expected Chile to go. This is where I would have expected Chile to maybe slot on in, but they go for the more aggressive play. Brazil, more positional, surrounding the rest of whatever is left of the USA. With Ecuador peppering down from range. Probably the right play, probably the correct play. And a typical play for that squad. They've been, I think, that by far the best when you look at macro game, when you look at rotations and decision making, especially in the early game. Nobody's come close, but they have sometimes been beat by just the crazy fights that Chile has been pulling off.
Good shots. But they're staying alive is maybe even a bigger deal than they could potentially have an option now to take on both of these elimination points. This is a good nade. Wow, if that would have been popped just a tiny bit earlier, it would have actually worked out perfectly. Could have maybe potentially taken down 1 or 2 players immediately. Still takes down one of the Brazilian players right below him. Is it going to be enough for a flash? I don't think so just yet. He's got no further utility. And that Molotov, I don't think it's going to hit perfectly. So Diego is going to be having a really tough time getting his player back. But it should be enough to at least secure the rest back and potentially deny a re-knock as well. And there you go. Little boy has been taken back up on his feet. And now there's one more nade being thrown. Kid has been taken down to around 20 HP too. And it looks like Brazil is actually kind of running away with this. But as I say that, shots from the distance do rain in. And Brazil loses players as well.
Man, Kidu's been so cracked. Kidu's been so good for that USA squad. But not enough this time. For Brazil, a little bit much to do with the molly as well. Just constricts him a little bit too much. Takes down too much of the possible movement he could have done. But he's been showing up. He's been showing up for the squad. Remember the game in Craters just a while ago, just one game ago, making big plays by himself, making big plays with the team. Even though they couldn't get a ton going, he's really been performing. Now the beaten up Guatemala squad is going to try and make their way towards Brazil. Same is true for the last Argentinian players, for the 2 Ecuadorians that want to come out of that northern compound. 2 knocks towards them, 2 bleeds they have to stop if they want to make it into zone.
Yeah. Well, it's been popped. Brazil has lost Little Boy, unfortunately. In that run up the hill, and that pursuit for the last United States player. At least they've been successful in that pursuit. Mystic now finding daggers. Means Brazil is gonna have a big bump in winning probability. And you can see that right here. 31%. I'd argue it's way higher than this as well. By the looks of it. Everyone else is going to have to fight their way in, while Brazil can literally just stay at the shack and kind of cover each other. And
Yeah.
look, as soon as anyone moves in further towards the safe zone, they're being shot at immediately.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is the stats just don't know how good Brazil is either, right? It's just looking at the map. It's looking at how many players are alive, how many meds they have, how much util they have. Doesn't understand that Brazil has just been a level above. And now Guatemala wants to make the move on early. No chance for Alex. The second Ecuador makes a move, they're fully in the open as well. And Argentina, they haven't even had anyone to shoot at yet. They've got 0 elims. They've just picked up the first 2 on Ecuador here in the top 4. It's not been their game.
No, really hasn't. More shots now coming in from Lawrence. It's a clean pickup. I think at this point we can safely agree that Brazil playing this game that methodical, even though they have absolutely no reason to do so, being qualified already, means they want to go for the 1 spot. And they want to take back what they've missed out on yesterday, which is plenty of points, to be honest, which is massive amounts of points. So seeing this right here gives you a pretty good idea on how these guys really should have performed yesterday as well. And they do not want to give Chile that 1 spot. And yeah, with this game, they've already overtaken them, 8 frags. Question only is how big that difference is going to be. How many more frags can they secure in this round? And can they safely finish this? Because Argentina is still very much alive. And we said Argentina They need a big game as well, but a second place is not going to be enough, right? We also said it needs like a 20-kill dinner to get somewhat close with 2 games remaining. This is not it. It's a good second place. It's good to bump up your overall total points, but it's not going to be enough for a comeback.
What if Mystic shows a little bit of the Mystic that we've seen yesterday? What if they can pull something off? They're letting nades rip right now. What if they're nading the smoke that Law is running into right now? Maybe there's a dream. Maybe there's a chance. But I'm looking at the angle Diego has, and I'm looking at how close the other players are getting, how much the util are getting out. And I see bad things coming the way of Argentina. One of those bad things is bouncing very nicely, and there's 2, 3, 4 more. How much can Mystic dance? It's all numbered. His days are numbered. Look at that barrage. It's a red zone. It's artillery at this point, and they know the last one has to be in the shack. Jerry, whenever he comes out, is going to have so much to deal with. He does the right thing, though. He tries to fight Diego in the distance, and I think he does. But there's the nade in the shack, and Brazil calm as always, calm as ever. They bring another one home, Felix.
Massive stuff. Brazil, just when they didn't need it anymore, they still come out with 11 frags on their own and win match number 10. Great stuff coming out from Brazil. As I said, they don't need this anymore. They don't need this at all. Still 2k damage being put out, and I touched on this at the end of the last game a couple of minutes ago. I think if this isn't a sign that they do not want to get second place in this, I don't know what is. It must be, because there's no reason for them to play as safe as this. And I want to argue the same can be said about Chile. Both of these teams could easily pull up on every single other team, and look how serious they still take this. Yep. They literally camped the third place team actually, but kind of the first place team in terms of runner-ups at the bridge phase 1. This is not a random coincidence that this has been done against Argentina. They want to actively secure qualification, and how do you do it, right? Yeah. Obviously, hitting the one team that has any potential of being the runner-up. Crazy that Argentina still is able to get that second place, but it's not going to be enough, right? Right from the get-go from phase 1, we knew it's never going to be enough now in terms of qualification.
It's beautiful. It's things you love to see. It's simple, but it's effective,
yeah.
And that's what Chile does, making sure that chances are massively hampered for that Argentinian squad. They just can't catch a break, right? They just can't seem to get it going. And, well, this is a classic Argentina game. This is a classic salvage. They've had many of those. They've had plenty of those in day 1, where they somehow claw their way into the second place with not a lot of kills. But, yeah, that ship has sailed. That's not going to be enough anymore, even though Chile kind of dropped the ball a little bit and do get taken out here as the 7th place team, I believe. Brazil doesn't stop at all. And overall, Argentina just not doing enough. Not doing enough just yet.
No. Good performance from the United States. Gotta give credit where it's due. Molotov almost sent him off again when he further in this round. And I think it did in the end as well. But the United States before that, man, aggressive, decisive, really good team fighting. I like what the United States has shown us, and I said it from the get-go, right? This isn't the most experienced teams that you know, obviously United States Esports Federation can send into the running, but they still put up a pretty good show. And yeah, in terms of team fighting as well, I can't help but wonder what would happen if we replay the first 6 rounds and the United States dodge the early fights and, you know, immediately spawn into phase 3, phase 4. I think we would have the United States in the run for top 5, top 6 easily as well. Maybe they actually are now with this last round, but in the end, it is all about Brazil and Chile. And looking at these stats as well, gotta give it up for Law.
Yeah,
he's been consistently one of the strongest fraggers for Brazil now throughout the entirety of this tournament, entirety of this qualifier, and that's not changed in match number 10.
He's not been putting up the numbers that Lorenzen or Diego has put up, but this game was a good showing of why everybody on that team deserves to be there, and that everybody on that team has the potential to completely pop off, right? And that's what he does here. 7 elims, 800 damage. Diego gets himself 5 assists, but 4 knocks for Law. He's as a material part of that squad, and he shows it here on our Erangel match number 10.
Good stuff from the first place team now, not only in the match standings, but in the overall leaderboard as well, surely, with Chile only taking 5. 21 points. Not to be underestimated how big of a deal that is, actually, in terms of taking first place. Only have 2 more matches to go. So for Chile to overtake Brazil now, it needs an equally big game, and Brazil to have minimum 1 week game as well. And even then, it's going to get really close. So really good stuff going on for Brazil in the later stages now of this qualifier. I got to give it up for Ecuador and the United States as well. I've talked about United States, but Ecuador too. I mean, unless they're experienced teams, coming out like this, it's not a given in a qualifier with how many PMSL players we have in this lobby. So, yeah, got to give it up for Ecuador. They're showing us willpower, they're showing us strength, and they want to represent that nation to the best of their abilities. And I think with the way they've handled themselves so far, I think they've been overperforming as well. So I think, yes, qualification maybe, in a different universe, they've actually wanted to make that happen. They'll be disappointed, but I think in this one, they can be quite content with their performance, and they should be going out of this qualifier with their obviously head held high.
Yeah, similar things for the USA. I think good game for them, good showing for them.
Yeah.
And we watched Kidu there a little bit, just dancing around the tree, being a big nuisance for that Brazilian squad. Unfortunately, not enough pressure coming all across the map to stop Brazil in their tracks, who are now a solid 13 points ahead of Chile, who is a solid 41 points, still clear of Argentina. So nothing changed there. Argentina separating themselves a little bit from Colombia, but that's pretty much the only thing happening on that scoreboard. The tie has not really separated. We still have 59, 58, 57, and 57. 4 spots right behind each other. The US has now put themselves inside of that pack that is extremely stacked towards the middle of the scoreboard. But it's also the pack that's not gonna be competing for slots here. Crazy game out of Argentina. Maybe we start hoping. But yeah.
I mean, 41 points still. I mean, nothing has changed.
No.
Really, it's still 41 points.
That's just one less game. So
Yeah.
something has changed, but I am gonna just believe that it's believable. I'm gonna believe that it's possible until this next
2
game.
dinners. 2 dinners is what they need.
Yeah.
As Law takes the match MVP in match number 10, nothing surprising here. 7 eliminations. That's going to be 7 big ones towards his total pouch of eliminations in this tournament. He's definitely in the running for taking the overall MVP spot in this regional qualifier here at the America region. Either way, yeah, United States back in the running, I guess, to take a top 5 spot. Right now, they're in 6th place. They've shown us that these guys, possess the willpower, the strength, and obviously the fighting ability as well. So it's going to be exciting to see how they finish this. But yeah, 41 points, still the difference. You said you're a believer. Then you said you're not believing. Then you said you're believing again. I don't know what to believe anymore with you, Kobo. I, for one, sure as hell do not believe anymore. It's 41 points. They need a dinner now, and they need another one to back that off.
Show me a dinner. Make me believe.
Yeah, but
Vamos
also with everyone
Argentina.
fighting the early game, I don't know how that's supposed to happen.
No sé. I don't know. I just want to see them win. We want to see them win. We want to see what the last 2 Miramars have in store for us, guys. And we have 2 more Miramars for you in a few minutes. So, you know the drill. We're going to a short break, and then we'll be back with the last 2 matches of the tournament.